I found this heavy metal object made up of several plates bolted together on a wooden handle. There are markings on either side, including what looks like the letter C and a large W. Does anyone know what this could be or what it was used for? The object you've found is most likely a bush hammer, a tool traditionally used in stone masonry. Bush hammers are designed to flatten rough stone surfaces, where chipping would remove too much material, but filing would leave the surface too smooth. Bush hammers have been in use since the 19th century. In 1831, Joseph Richards patented his version of the bush hammer, describing it as a stone-working tool meant to help stone masons create a rough, pockmarked texture on stone surfaces, mimicking the appearance of naturally weathered rock. While bush hammers have become less common in recent years, especially with the rise of electric grinders equipped with diamond wheels, they are still valued in certain situations. Bush hammers are preferred for their ability to leave a more natural and aesthetically pleasing finish, something that modern electric tools often fail to replicate. I found an electronic device that plugs into the wall and appears to have audio inputs for old phone cables or radio frequency connections. On the front, it has a wheel labeled with setting, including high-fidelity voice. The back of the device contains analog electrical components. Does anyone know what this device might be and what it was used for? The object you found is most likely the chassis of a vintage Zenith tube radio from the late 1930s or early 1940s. Known for their exceptional craftsmanship and advanced features, Zenith radios were highly regarded during their time. The high-fidelity voice setting on the dial suggests that this radio was specifically designed to deliver high-quality audio. The round openings surrounded by smaller holes on the chassis were intended to hold vacuum tubes, which were critical components in early radios. These tubes amplified and processed radio signals, allowing the radio to receive and reproduce sound with clarity. Zenith, an American radio manufacturer founded in 1918, was renowned for introducing innovative technologies into their products. Models, such as the Zenith 12S267, released in 1938, featured cutting-edge advancements like electric automatic tuning and customizable audio settings. These radios were often encased in elegant wooden cabinets, seamlessly blending functionality with aesthetic beauty. I found a rusted metallic dart-shaped object about 2.6 inches in length with a dome-shaped head and what appears to be a spring. It was half buried near the Great Shelford train station about 10 years ago. Does anyone know what this might be and what it was used for? The object you found is likely a cap bomb, a popular toy from the mid-20th century. These toys were designed to simulate the sound and excitement of an explosion without causing harm. To operate a cap bomb, a small explosive cap, either a paper roll cap or a plastic cup-shaped cap, was placed in the designated area near the nose. When thrown into the air, the weighted design ensured that the device would land nose first. Upon impact with a hard surface, such as pavement, the internal plunger, propelled by a spring, would strike the cap, producing a loud bang. This mechanism provided a safe yet thrilling experience for children, allowing them to mimic the sounds of explosions during play. The history of cap bombs is closely tied to the development of cap guns, which became popular in the mid-1860s after the American Civil War. Firearms companies, seeking to recover lost military contracts, began manufacturing toy guns that used percussion caps to create a popping sound. This innovation led to the creation of various cap-firing toys, including cap bombs, which gained widespread popularity during the mid-20th century. Several patents were filed for explosive toy bombs during this period, showcasing the creativity and ingenuity behind these designs. One notable example is United States Patent 2-500 and 3-360, titled Explosive Toy Bomb, which describes a toy bomb with gas discharge and sound-multiplying features. Although cap bombs were cherished for their entertainment value, they eventually raised safety concerns. The loud noises and minor explosions, while generally harmless, prompted increased scrutiny. As a result, these toys became less common in the latter part of the 20th century, though they remain a nostalgic reminder of a bygone era. I found a heavy metal device with a crank. Inside the turning part, there appears to be wood. It was discovered in a junkyard. Does anyone know what this might be and what it was used for? The heavy metal device you found is most likely a telephone magneto, a hand-cranked generator commonly used in early telecommunication systems. These devices were an integral part of magnetotelephones, which were widely used from the late 19th century into the mid-20th century. Turning the crank on the magneto generates an alternating current, typically between 50 and 100 volts. This current was used to ring the bells of other telephones on the same line or to signal an operator at a local exchange. The wooden components inside the turning mechanism likely served as insulation or were part of the rotor assembly, as wood was a common material in early electrical devices for its non-conductive properties. Magnetotelephones were a simple yet effective solution for communication, particularly in rural or remote areas. Their design was rugged and reliable, allowing them to function over long and poor quality lines where more modern systems often struggled. Beyond their intended use in telecommunications, telephone magnetos were occasionally repurposed for other applications. One notable example is their use in a practice called telephoning for catfish. By introducing the electric current generated by the magneto into water, individuals could temporarily stun fish, making them easier to catch. I found a small metal rectangle with brass rollers on each end. I picked it up over 40 years ago when I was a kid. There's a felted pad inside, but the gaps around the rollers are very small, making it hard to see. The item feels solid and heavier than it looks, measuring 1.5 by 1 by 0.5 inches. The writing on one side reads, "Bruce Humphreys Publishers, Boston, mass-made in USA." Does anyone know what this might be and what it was used for? The object you found is a staff writer, a compact tool designed for musicians and composers to draw musical staff lines on blank paper. This device allowed users to create staff lines anywhere without the need for pre-ruled paper. The brass rollers on each end were inked by the internal felt pad, enabling the simultaneous drawing of 5 parallel lines representing the musical staff. The staff writer was produced in the 1950s and 1960s and distributed by various music publishers, including Bruce Humphreys Publishers of Boston, Massachusetts. Its compact dimensions and solid construction made it a portable and durable tool for musicians. The design of the staff writer was inspired by earlier tools like the rastrum, a 5-pointed pen used since the 16th century to draw staff lines, and the stravager, invented by composer Igor Stravinsky around 1911. I found a small metal container marked stanol. Under the cap, there is a pipe stuffed with fabric and covered with a sleeve. Does anyone know what this might have been used for? The item you've discovered is a portable oil lamp, commonly used in the past for illumination and warmth. Manufactured by the German company Stanol, primarily known for producing soldering materials, this device represents a lesser-known part of their product line. To operate the lamp, the internal fabric wick is saturated with a fuel such as kerosene. Once the wick is lit, it produces a steady flame, providing light and a modest amount of heat. The metal cap serves 2 purposes. It prevents fuel from evaporating or leaking when the lamp is not in use and can be placed over the flame to extinguish it safely. I found this in my grandpa's chest, full of 1940s Navy items. It's about 18 inches long and feels like stiff fabric. It seems like a piece of a flag, but it's just a strip, and I have no idea what it was used for. Does anyone know what this might be? The item you found is a commissioning pennant, a traditional symbol flown on United States Navy ships. A commissioning pennant is a long, narrow streamer in the national colors of the Navy that flies it. In the United States, the pennant has a blue section at the hoist, featuring 7 white stars, with the rest of the pennant consisting of alternating red and white stripes. The commissioning pennant is flown to signify that a ship has been formally commissioned and is an active part of the Navy. Narrow pennants of this kind have been used for thousands of years and can be seen in ancient Egyptian art and medieval European manuscripts, where they served as symbols of distinction for naval ships. Earlier American commissioning pennants featured 13 white stars, representing the original 13 states. Smaller 7-star pennants were later introduced, though the reason for this change remains unclear. The number 7 may have been chosen for its symbolic significance in Christian and Jewish traditions, or simply for its aesthetic appeal. I found this hammer at my grandma's house, and it belonged to her father, who was a carpenter. Does anyone know what this hammer is used for? The hammer you've discovered is known as a Warrington hammer, also referred to as a joiner's hammer or pin hammer. This tool is traditionally used in woodworking, particularly for driving small nails or pins with precision. The origins of the Warrington hammer date back to the mid-19th century, with its name likely derived from the town of Warrington in England. When I was about 4 or 5 years old during my visits to my grandmother, she would occasionally give me a hammer just like this one, along with small nails. She wanted me to learn how to drive nails properly, and back then, I found it incredibly fun and fascinating. I have an object about 25 centimeters high. The stand seems to be made of bronze, and the ring on top consists of many separate wooden pieces. I got it from an auction in Germany, where it was part of a larger lot containing curiosities ranging from 80 to 500 years old from around the world. The metal base is much heavier than the top, so it stands firmly without any issue. Does anyone know what this might be? The item you've acquired appears to be a kalabubu, a traditional stiff circular necklace from South Nias, an island in North Sumatra, Indonesia. Historically, the kalabubu was worn by warriors as a symbol of triumph in warfare and heroism. It was believed to offer protection to the wearer, and only those who had decapitated an enemy were permitted to wear it, earning it the nickname Headhunter's Necklace. The kalabubu is typically constructed with a metal frame, often made of brass or iron, and adorned with polished slices of coconut shell, or sometimes turtle shell. These slices are carefully arranged to create a smooth, blackened surface. The necklace's shape is distinct with a central part that is thicker and gradually tapers towards the ends, which are often connected by a brass or gold disc. In Nias culture, the kalabubu holds significant cultural value, representing masculinity, status, and warrior prestige. While it was traditionally reserved for those who had proven their bravery in battle in modern times, it is worn more broadly among Nias men and features in ceremonial dances and cultural celebrations. I found a small metallic object, estimated to be about 80 to 100 years old, roughly the size of a baby carrot. It has some moving pieces and appears to be entirely made of metal. It came in a wooden box with a carved outline specifically shaped to fit this object, suggesting it's complete on its own. Does anyone know what this might be and what it was used for? The object you found is a phleem, a handheld instrument historically used for bloodletting, a once common medical practice believed to treat various ailments by withdrawing blood. In earlier times, it was thought that bloodletting could restore balance to the body's humors and help cure a wide range of illnesses. The term phleem originates from the Greek word phlebotomy, meaning to cut a blood vessel. Phleems have been in use since ancient times, with early examples dating back to the Anglo-Saxon period. By the 17th and 18th centuries, the design became more refined, often featuring right-angled steel blades and a brass or metal casing for durability and precision. Phleems typically came with multiple blades of different sizes, allowing the user to choose the most appropriate one depending on the intended procedure. The blade would be carefully positioned and gently tapped with a small wooden stick to create an opening. This method was designed to be controlled and precise, minimizing unnecessary damage and ensuring a clean procedure. While phleems were occasionally used for human bloodletting, they were far more commonly employed in veterinary medicine, particularly for treating horses and cattle. For humans, smaller tools like thumb lancets were generally preferred for their precision and ease of use. I found a square plastic object, about 24 inches on each side, with V-shaped channels filled with glass beads at an altitude of 12,000 feet on top of a mountain. It seems to have a small sensor on one side. Does anyone know what this might have been used for? The object you've discovered appears to be a bee watering station, designed to provide bees with a safe place to hydrate without the risk of drowning. The V-shaped channels filled with glass beads serve as landing platforms, allowing bees to access water safely. Bee watering stations are especially important in arid or high-altitude environments where natural water sources can be scarce. Providing a consistent water source helps support local pollinator populations, which play a crucial role in maintaining biodiversity and aiding in the pollination of various plant species. If you're interested in supporting local bee populations, you can also set up a bee house in your area. I've talked about bee houses in one of my previous videos, which you can check out by clicking the link in the description. I found a small metal object at a thrift store in the United States. It's about 2 to 3 inches long and appears to be a container of some sort. The metal looks like it has been folded together and shaped, and while it's slightly magnetic in some parts, it's not strongly so. The object is also very lightweight. Does anyone know what this might have been used for? The object you've discovered appears to be a beetle nut box, a small container traditionally used to store ingredients for beetle chewing. Beetle chewing is a practice common in many parts of South and Southeast Asia, involving the chewing of areca nut wrapped in beetle leaves, often combined with slaked lime and other flavorings. This practice was not only a social and cultural ritual, but also valued for its mild stimulant effects, helping to reduce fatigue and suppress hunger. In addition to beetle nut boxes, similar small containers were also used for storing snuff, a powdered tobacco product that was particularly popular in Europe during the 17th and 18th centuries. In the last video, I asked you to guess what the small wooden object with a handle might have been used for. Many of you shared creative and interesting ideas, and some of you were absolutely correct. This item is actually a handmade wooden gavel bottle opener. Thank you to everyone who participated and shared your guesses. A special shout out to Derek Haskin for being the first to correctly identify it. All right, it's time for another mystery item. Take a look at this small metal object. What do you think it might have been used for? Leave your guesses in the comments, and I'll reveal the answer in the next video. Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed the video, please like and subscribe. Your support motivates me to create more videos. See you next time.